fish on. That was a good bite. Oh, what have we got here? It's got to be a trout, isn't it? Little trout, lovely. Morning guys, Andy the Budget Angler here, just out at my local chalk stream, just doing a little bit of sort of fishing the tip. Was out yesterday, you'll probably see the video last week or the week before, just fishing the River Tess. So if you're interested in sort of, you know, quintessential English chalk stream fishing with the centre pin, I'd recommend that video. So I'll put a link to that in this description if you're up for it. But this is my local chalk stream, not quite as grand as the Tess, as you can see, quite a narrow little trickle. Just fishing the tip really. This is quite a sort of shallow stretch when the water's low, and it is at the moment. Well, there are a few little deep holes, and I'll just sort of, instead of fishing the float, I just fancied a change really. So I'm just fishing my little 8-foot rod there. You can just see it, hopefully you can see that. It's a beautiful day, it's absolutely glorious sunshine. It's probably a bit overexposed, you can't really see that. It's a little bit hazy over there, but it's blue skies, sun shining, the water's quite clear, so it's not exactly ideal conditions for fishing, and especially with the sun behind me, although it will move round sort of this way. So at the moment I'm casting a little bit of a shadow just along the margins, but hopefully that won't be the case for too much longer. I'm sitting quite far back from the river, fishing the rod tip up nice and high, so there's less line going through the water, so you don't pick up as much debris. Just fishing a little link ledger. I thought about using the feeder, but then I thought, because I'm fishing quite close in, and I'll know exactly where I'm fishing, where the bait is, so I can just drop trickle feed on top of it. So yeah, I just had a little tap then, so I'm gonna go and put the GoPro on and see if I can get something. Oh, that was a shy bite for a good fish. Oh, I think this might be a chub. I hope so. No, it's not a chub. Well, there you go, guys. That's the trout there that I've just played and landed. I think the camera probably got the bite and maybe me striking and not much else, but I've just unhooked him and I'll get him straight back. But he's a lovely, lovely, beautiful wild brown trout, cracking. If you can hear that, guys, there's a great tit up in that tree. There he goes. That's the first one I've heard calling this year. You see him all the time throughout the winter on bird feeders and that, but I think they only really make that kind of rusty saw call when it's sort of springtime. I know it's still January, but yeah, it feels like spring, I must say. And there's quite a few bulbs coming up in the garden. Cool, I nearly folded the rod in half. I reckon we know what it's going to be. Well, not a big one. There you go, guys. Look at that cracking little brown trout in the sunshine. Absolutely wonderful. That was just there in front of you. I've moved swim because it went dead over there, and that had been in the water probably 2 or 3 minutes when that wanged on. I was just still chucking in a little bit of bait. Lovely little fish. The great tit's back and he's not happy. I think he's doing a bit of a warning cry about me, probably thinking, who's this bloke sitting where I want to build a nest? This sort of old willow tree here, he's probably got loads of little nooks and crannies. You can see the little holes. That'd be ideal natural nesting spot for a great tit. But they're great to put in the garden, to put a nest box in the garden. If you put a nest box with, I think, 25 to 35 mil hole, I think is ideal size for a great tit, if I remember rightly. Cracking little birds, aren't they? Lovely little things. Really, really beautiful yellow from underneath as well. Beautiful. Oh, I got him, whatever it is. Well, there you go, guys. I think that might be the smallest trout I've ever caught. Absolutely tiny, and he was giving the tip a bit of a twang. Could be the same little trout there, guys. That didn't even bite. I just retrieved it. I was going to move down to the next swim and he was on the end. It was only in the lip, so I don't know if he grabbed it as I sort of moved it, because they will, you know, they're predatory fish, aren't they? So for the lift, absolutely brilliant. Oh my God, hang on. Across that weed bed. There you go, guys, another little brown trout. Absolutely shocked me. I was filming the outro to last week's video, and yeah, he nearly pulled the rod off the stand. So absolutely fantastic, lovely little brown trout. I'll just talk you through the gear I'm using, guys. It's the little Darrant Valley 8-foot feeder rod, which is ideal for a small little stream like this. In the summer it might be a bit more difficult because there's a bit more vegetation. It's harder to fish over, but when you got trees over you and stuff like that, it's nice and compact. It's the Daiwa J16 reel again that I was using the last time I was using this rod. I've really liked this reel. It's a little bit big possibly for this rod, but maybe that's because it's a bit older. It looks quite chunky. I don't know what the spool size is, but yeah, it's just a 5 pound mono on there. Little link ledger. I've lost a couple in trees, which he says is, you know, with a longer rod I probably would have lost more. So the quality of the fishing gear and the suitability of it doesn't really take into account the uselessness of the budget angler. But it's just a little bomb tied on a swivel with a weight stopping it. It's a Twizzled boom, just down to a size 14 hook there with 3 maggots on. I'll talk you how to do the Twizzle. Oh, I've also just got a little shot there just in front of the boom. That's actually slid up a little bit. Just slide that back down. I want that sort of just to kind of help the maggot sink a bit in the middle of the flow there, where there's a little bit of pace, just to make sure it's not flapping up too high in the water. I want it sort of down near the bottom, and that little, it's just a little number 8 or number 6 that keeping it down there. And I'll just give you a little rundown of the Twizzled boom now. Right guys, I'm going to try and show you the Twizzled boom, but I'm doing this at home in the spare room rather than on the bank. I did demonstrate this on the bank probably 2 years ago now, so I just wanted to have another go, because I always sort of say it on the videos, is how I always fish when I'm fishing with the tip using a link ledger or feed or something like that. So this darker brown line is what we're saying is the main line. So this is going back to the rod that way. This is the end of it. And if you're setting up when you get to the bank, I nearly always tie on the bank when I'm doing this. So what you want to do is twizzle the line. So I'm just twisting it between finger and thumb, not finger. And I'm just holding the tag end or the end, the terminal end, not the rod end, loose. And I'm just twiddling my finger and thumb, or twizzling, I suppose. And as you can see, that causes the line to twist together, and effectively get double the thickness of line and double the strength because it's all twisted together. And so you get quite a, can you see that? That's actually now a boom on the line. So I've got the line going away back to the rod and pinching this end at the bottom of the sort of the lower half of the picture. Sorry if I'm blocking the light there. The lower half of the picture. And so that gives you a bit of a boom, and that's what your hook link's going to go on, but I'll show you that in a second. And then you just tie this off. I'll just tie this with just a figure of 8 knot. So you want to make sure you pull that right to the end of the boom, moisten it, pull that tight. So that effectively is the boom created. So there you go. So that goes. So this end's going back to the rod. This is the tag end that we don't want anymore. So we'll just cut that off. Right. So you can see the tag end's gone. And that shot has appeared because it wasn't on the bit of paper when I started filming. So, right. So next job, put on the bomb. So this bomb here has got a big oversized swivel on it, really, just so it's free running. You could put the bomb on before you tie the twizzle, but of course, then you've got to make sure that's not flapping about or dropping. When you do that, it's just as easy to do that, and maybe easier depending on the size of the swivel. This is a big free running eyed swivel, and the bomb there's tied onto, I don't know what that is, 40 mil, 50 mil of line, and obviously it's a link ledger. The reason behind this sort of length of link, this is a flat lead, but I mean if you were fishing this and it's sunk into a bit of silt or something, gives you a bit more distance. It also gives you a bit of play, so if you tighten up, the fish are pulling through this sort of the link before they feel the lead, so it just gives you a little bit more confidence, really. So the light, so right, remember this end's going back to the rod here, this end. So then you want to stop the bomb falling off. So I just use a split shot. You could use a stot or a float stop and a bead, whatever you want. Now, as you can, there you go. So that's your bomb stopped. That's your boom there, and then this other white bit of line is the hook link. So you could work it so you end up with a swivel on there. You could clip a swivel on, or a quick change swivel, or twizzle it with a swivel, which would probably be the most secure way of doing it, or even loop the swivel on there. Right, so just the way I attach my hook link, if I'm not using a quick change or anything like that, I'll just do a loop to loop. So I've got a loop on the end of your hook link, This is a fine hook link, probably, I think it's £4. I used a white clear one to contrast with the main line, which is a brown line. And all I've done there is a loop to loop. There's a loop on the end of the hook link. I don't know if you can see it there. And obviously it loops into the boom. And of course you can see the stiffness of the boom there. And that is, if you hold that up, I can't really do it with this camera angle, but you can see that there is a much stiffer bit of line there. And what that's doing is holding your hook link away from the swivel and the bomb, so you get fewer tangles, or at least that's the idea anyway. And just for sort of completeness on this video, I was fishing this with a tiny number 8 shot, about halfway down the hook link. So I'll just attach that now and show you. Just a number 8 shot, sort of, and you'd have the hook about here, and that just, in that fast flowing stream, that little shot there just aids slightly in keeping the bait nearer the deck, so it's not up and flapping. I mean, you might not be worried about that. It depends on the length of the hook link. You could use a much shorter hook link and have it sort of down here, but I was using a long one, just I wanted it to be away from the bomb. And if the bomb fell and spooked any fish that were shoaled up around where I was fishing under those trees, they hopefully wouldn't scatter too far, and your bait will be down the hook length, sort of downstream a little bit from all this paraphernalia here that might potentially spook the fish. But that there was the rig I was using. Hopefully that's explained it. It's a bit difficult to do when I'm not fully rigged up, but I couldn't work out a way of doing it indoors with the rod, and outdoors I just couldn't sort of make it work. But you don't have to use such a long link. Some people just clip the swivel on, some people just go straight through there. But that, I find, that just gives you a bit more confidence that the fish has got a little bit of play there between, that bomb effectively is not part of how the fish indicate to you. So obviously that's laying on the bottom. The fish are pulling, even if that's catching, that's not moving the bomb at all. So you're getting all the feeling through to the rod tip, so you can see the bites. And of course that stop there just stops it pulling through to your hook link. Hopefully that's been a bit more useful for you than just me sort of holding it up to the camera when we're fishing. If you look on YouTube or just Google it, there are good diagrams of this, better than I've explained it probably, but hopefully this gives you some idea. Well guys, that wasn't a bad little session, to be honest. Hopefully, it's a shame I didn't get any chub or roach, to be honest. I would have liked a couple. And I think that's the first time I've ever fished there and not had a roach, definitely. So the trout, while they're good fun, they are out of season and a bit of a pest. They do tend to outcompete the other fish, but I mean, as bycatches go, they're pretty good and great fun. That bigger one that I didn't quite get on the GoPro was brilliant. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that as much as I've enjoyed making it. Yeah, sorry about that. I just stopped filming because there was a lot of people walking past and they're all looking at me, and I can't film and talk coherently when people are like thinking, what the hell is he doing in the middle of a footway in the freezing cold. Anyway, I think I was just about to say something along the lines of thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up, please drop me a sub, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers guys, fish on.